So continuing where we left off, I'm going to make some line work of my geometries in Rhino. I'm going to make sure my view is highlighted and that it is definitely set to that perspective I had before. Select it, make sure it's activated, and make a 2D of it. This time I would like you to click on the Show Hidden Lines so that we can start to have some reference points or reference lines within our diagram. I'm going to hit OK. And then when we go into what was produced, you'll see the hidden lines represented as white. For this, if you go to expand your Make 2D layer, you're going to see visible and hidden lines now. And if you expand it all the way out, the default layer will have all of those lines. I'm going to rename an existing layer and call it hidden, and then put all of that line work into that layer. So now you can see it represented as purple. And then I'm going to delete a hidden line layer. Now I'm going to turn off the hidden lines and do the same thing we've done before by making one outline with the curve Boolean command and then the interior region so that I can use them for shading potentially in Illustrator. I'm going to hide the geometry that I had before so that it's not conflicting with what I'm working on right now. And I'm going to type in curve Boolean to begin this process. I'm going to keep my combine regions on yes and click outside so that I get the overall outline of it. Create a layer for it, call it outline, and move that line work to there. So now if I turn this off, it should be there. This layer, I'll leave this here for now. I'm also going to recreate or rename a layer here and call it interior. This is for those interior regions that I'll make right now. So if I type in curve Boolean again, select my objects, I'm going to turn it off so that they can be separated. And I'm going to try and keep a region here and here to indicate the two surfaces in case my rendering that I produce isn't distinguishable enough. So I'm going to click this one and then click this one. I'm also going to click these detailed regions here. I may or may not use them, but as they're part of the surfaces, they could add to the information. So now I have regions that I can use to fill easily in Illustrator. I'm going to right click to confirm and then change objects to this layer. So now if I select those objects just to see that they're there, they are. I'm going to turn that off. Actually, I'm going to turn these on and select all of the objects on both layers and see which ones I have in my drawing that are not represented. And it's these two kind of curved lines that are represented through just a single line. I'm going to put these to my interior layer so that I don't lose them. And then when I have that turned off, I have my intersects turned off, I have everything off, I'm going to then delete all of this line work so that it's not redundant when I take it into Illustrator. So now if I turn this on, you'll see I have the series of the hidden, the outline, and then my interior regions with those two tangential lines that go across the surface. For this, then I'm going to delete my Make 2D layer so that when I bring all of these layers and any excess layers as layer 5, I'm going to delete as well. So when I bring this into Illustrator, it'll be clean. This default layer is representing my initial geometry, which if I show it and then select, it's going to be right there. So I'm just going to turn that off for now. When I do the export of this line work, it won't bring in that default layer because it's not part of that line work. However, this intersects layer I don't believe has anything on it. So I'm going to make this activated by double clicking. Select this one more time to make sure no objects are added in that selection, so there's nothing on that layer, and then I'm going to delete it. So right now I have a clean set of 3 series of layers that I can take into Illustrator. You'll notice also that I made the colors purple, blue, and green. This doesn't really mean anything. However, the only reason that I kept it to different shades was to tell which lines are what, and also that none of them are white, because if I take them into Illustrator, they will be represented as white with their control points and white lines. So you may not be able to see them, and it might be confusing. So now in terms of scaling, I don't know what scale I made these lines at, so I'm just going to get a rough idea with this distance. So it's 8 1/4. So I'm going to do the representation of a letter-sized piece of paper, move it to 0, 0 for my reference, and then I'm also holding down to Control to deselect, and then I'm going to scale it arbitrarily for now to be within a workspace that's a letter size in landscape orientation for Illustrator. And I'm going to pause here, and then the next time we're going to go into Illustrator and how to begin to adjust the line work for the diagram.